The dream team, Noels and Debbie. Do you guys fight? Like, do you get into like kind of saucy disagreements, or does someone raise their voice?
Debbie?
I think we challenge and then we go for coffee.
And then you start yelling?
No, I don't think we get into too many fights.
No, but you do have pretty like heated discussions? No, you're on the same wavelength.
Well, no, we're not on the same wavelength. I think that's why we work well together, because we're both independent women. We both have our own thoughts, but also our intent is to be the best that we can be for others, or to wear the silver fern. So what we do, how we do it, is part of it, and I don't think it's a challenge. I think it's just part of our job, and our role. So
the
sweet
job,
as.
You have to have people that think differently in your job. Otherwise, you're all like singing the same company
and we're
song.
doing the same thing, and we never improve or be better.
Yeah, that's cool. I was hoping you guys did have like little fights and you start pulling hair and stuff, but that is way more helpful in a team environment. It's not as fun to talk about, but I totally agree with you. So in deciding who you were going to take for the Netball World Cup, how much of an impact, because you did rotate a little bit, Noels, you did rotate throughout the last few tours, especially through the Midcourt to see, and you were very open and vocal about it, what they could do in those situations you needed to see for yourself. And then ANZ. So what helped the most of the two things that you did? What really helped you figure out who you were going to pick?
Yeah, definitely building the depth, I suppose, and you know how it goes, eh? You know, getting that opportunity, one, to wear the black dress is a privilege in itself, but also getting the opportunity to get on court. Yeah. You know, like we reminisce sometimes in the old days, like you never got on court, and then if you got on court and you buggered up, then see you later. You know, so it's a very privileged space. Not that they've been given because they actually earn it, but also knowing the deeper purpose or the reason why we're doing it, which is to get ourselves here. Yeah. So the only way that you can see if people, what people can do, is give them that opportunity, provide them that opportunity, but also give them the support that needs to be wrapped around, and know that you can't build Rome in a day. Yeah. You know, so ANZ was a really clear spot in regards to seeing how people shift and what they can do, and for them to take that responsibility or ownership to put their own hands up. So I think that's all part of it, and it was pretty cool to see people transform, I think, in some respect. That's the best.
Yeah, and you enjoyed watching the ANZ Champs and how that played out, Deb? Like, were you pretty clear in how you thought the team might be picked?
Yeah, I think every week, fortnightly, I report, so everything's really transparent for the players. There's nothing worse than kind of not knowing where you stand as an athlete. They want clear guidelines about where they're at and what the selectors think of them. The selectors were direct comments to the players, so they're pretty lucky to have that. And as a response, I think when we came out of January tour, you know, the challenge was we want to be playing at world-class standards in ANZ, and there's a playing group amongst that are in the Silver Ferns that drove a higher level of gameplay. That's why we saw so many tightly contested games, and that's where you really get to see the character and the ones that are thinking outside the business as usual.
Yeah. Your Midcourt, how exciting are they?
I know, I've been harping about this for a few years, about the quality of midcourters that we have. And I think, you know, we're overabundance of players who have their own uniqueness. And to be honest, it's hard to be able to differentiate one person from another. You know, so what I'm really excited about when we talk about the opposition, a lot of teams, you talk about the bookends. And I'm really excited by our midcourt because, man, they got engines to burn. They've got uniqueness in how they play, plus also our adaptability to slide people from wing attack to centre to wing D, but still have the ability to keep the clip up. And I think that's really exciting when you put them not only as individuals, but you mould them together. So we all know the intensity that's going to happen and our ability to be still showing our wares by quarterfinals, semi-finals and gold match. Not be a one-hit wonder up the front and out the back. So that's how exciting I think this group is. You've got Mila in the mix, but I think also what is exciting, I think with the whole group is, you know, you've got your experienced campaigners who are the po or people who have been around, but also I always say the youthful exuberance, you know, and when that, you know, they only know what they know to some respect, so you get the X factor, you get the flair, you get their willingness to go into spaces that people may have not gone before. So when you add, once again, the chemistry and the rhythm of that, I think it's on point. It's going to be led by our mid-quarters. You know, come under the radar and boom, away they go. And that's the most exciting thing from the selections that we've got. Yeah,
no, it is really exciting. And I know not everyone has to understand it, and the beauty is not everyone needs to understand it. I think we're excited about the way that you guys are going, and you're right, that mid-court is fire. And going into this World Cup, I know, hang on, just, it's a bit cold in here, eh, guys? So, just little blanket.
Yeah.
Sorry, sorry, just got a little bit. Oh, there's a chill. Someone left the door open. Excuse me.
You're the girl, Katie. You're the girl.
So,
you want some warm-up matches?
Going into this is my normal start. So, going into the World Cup, you kind of know what you're going to expect.
Yeah.
You know what you're taking. But is there anyone that makes you a little bit nervous? Are there any teams that... Thank you.
You make me nervous.
Because it's no longer a 2, 3, maybe 4 horse race anymore. There are people, the African nations are coming through and upsetting people.
Exciting.
There are teams that are coming through that'll just start to rock it a little bit. Is there anyone who's not... Is there a team that's not as obvious to, you know, the normal netball watcher that you guys think people need to make sure they're aware of?
Well, you know, like, I think every game's going to be exciting. I think when every team takes the court, they're showing who they are, their identity. Well, within New Zealand, we play a certain way, but as you say, the Caribbean style, the African style, your guys' style is totally different from how we play, but our ability to go out there and combat or compete against certain people, different people. You know, and I think that's the beauty of a World Cup. It's not only what happens on the court, it's what happens behind the scenes while you're waiting, and you have the African nations that are singing their stuff, you know, and I don't believe that we go into any game disrespecting opposition, because that's not the mindset that we want to take. You know, everything that we do is about improving, it's about ourselves, but what different people bring to that package of how we can improve, because they will be putting us under fire in some respect. So I think that's why I think when you go into these pinnacle events, it's I don't know why people aren't excited about it. You know, because that's really, you're playing the best of the best, the environment, the beauty, the excitement that different countries bring adds to the flavour of netball. Yeah. You know, and it's what competition's about. So everyone's going to bring their tune. When we played against Uganda in Commonwealth Games, and some of these players that we have in this group didn't know what the hell hit them. You know, and we had to learn on the trot, and 1 minute you're going over there, next minute you're going over there, you have the goal shoot right up by the transverse line. We held on for dear life going to the last quarter, and we were able to rise. But that's the best out of competition. And the best way that you learn is on the job. So, you know, you see how people can roll with the punches or sink to the bottom. Yeah.
And I guess that's why you took the path you did, trying to get as many people on the court. Get them in the kitchen when it's hot and see what they do in there. So it's been really exciting to watch We, Tonga play Aussie on day 2 because we're in that pool. Who do you want me to take out?
Debbie?
I'm not playing for Aussie.
Any words of advice? We're a small island nation doing amazing things on the international stage, coming up against Australia. Any words of advice?
Oh, you guys Tonga are always... You guys are Tonga, that's all I can say. You know, the mana that Tonga always play with, the way you have come together as a team, the way you've mobilised people from all over the world to follow your team is amazing. And that's the beauty of the World Cup. You have these nations where people have just come together and you're going to go out there and represent massively. So it's more about, you know, how far can you guys go with the firepower that you've got.
I think we're pretty interested in spicing it up a little bit.
I'm sure you will, eh?
Yeah, I have no choice. That's all I do around here, Noel, is annoy people, never leave, stay in their faces. Thank you guys so much.
Awesome.
It's so cool to have an insight to what you're doing and why you're doing it. Watching this journey leading into the World Cup is extraordinarily different to the last one.
Yeah.
But it's been really cool to try and understand what you're doing because then we can buy into it a little bit more, even though we never, ever fail to believe that you know what you're doing, even if we don't like it or agree with it. The netball community knows that you have a direct plan and you trust it wholeheartedly, and that's where everyone gets behind you. So I'm so excited to see what you guys got. I am a forever Fern. I'll be wearing red in a couple of weeks. Say hello to me and I'll be your best friend.
But we go way back.
Yeah, that's my friend.
That's right.
Love you guys. Good luck. Can't wait to see you over there.
Cool, mate. Cool, man.
Are you cold? Do you want your legs look a little chilly. Let's just wrap that over your feet. Yeah. And you know what? It just goes with what you're wearing. It brings out your eyes, Deborah.
Thank you.
Thank you.